Hey there, it's Basidion, and we're going to be doing another review game. This one is called Grobot. It's a very cutesy, stylized game. It is a point and click adventure. I've decided to go ahead and play through some of it and then do a little bit of a voiceover. Um, it's been interesting so far. I'll show kind of little bits and pieces here and there of generally how the game works, and then after this, I'll give my opinion on the game, whether or not I would recommend it, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and hop on into it. As you can see, the controls are fairly simple. Everything that is consumable is kept on the right, keepables are kept on the left. At first I was a little confused by that, but it does make more sense as time goes on. You do have the ability to manipulate certain aspects of the environment around you, as is typical in a point and click adventure. For instance, opening this cabinet and finding these three little light sprites. You're able to move from room to room in order to explore more of the area surrounding you. It doesn't give much in terms of description if you're hovering over anything, so you kind of haphazardly click on everything around you. But the fact that the icon turns red instead of blue does help to let you know when you can click on anything, if you can click on it. You're able to move from room to room in order to explore more of the area surrounding you. It doesn't give much in terms of description if you're hovering over anything, so you kind of haphazardly click on everything around you. But the fact that the icon turns red instead of blue does help to let you know when you can click on anything, if you can click on it. Eventually, I clicked on this little icon up on the top left that had the little shines on its stomach, and it found me a new friend. I will say the way that the creatures speak in this game is quite entertaining. I enjoyed listening to them and all of their strange little sounds as they were communicating. The art stylization is, as I mentioned before, very cute. I'm drawn to this particular kind of art style, so that was a giant plus in terms of the game and what it had to offer. As is usual in these games, if you feel a little bit stuck, going further can kind of help you figure out what exactly you're supposed to be doing, which is where I met our little judgmental hamster bear thing friend. So he hasn't decided that I'm good enough yet to cross through that door's threshold, so I decided to explore a little bit more and look into some of the other things that are available. I located this cute little pink thing up in the top left, and apparently it lives inside your brain. Or is your brain? I'm not really sure, actually. But bloop, there he goes. Please open your head. So he, not entirely certain what it does. It's called a brain pillow. I don't remember it speaking too often to me. I wandered around quite a bit, and at this point I was fairly lost, but I did get an indicator that I could go back to the Yeti so that I can ask it some more questions, and that's when I found out that I needed to complete the recipe in the book in order to make jelly for the Yeti. But, well, I guess it's a star belly, it's not a Yeti. It looks like a Yeti to me. I think it even makes commentary on it not being a Yeti at some point when it's talking. But he wants jelly, but he is a hologram. So you have to use the teleporter on the wall up at the top there in order to get it to him after you've made the jelly that he's looking for. At this point in the game, I had collected quite a lot of items, but I wasn't really 100% sure what each of them did. So I did find out that while they're in your inventory, they give you a little bit of a description at the top, and I was able to combine two things to create this. But it doesn't really factor into what exactly you're supposed to do at this point in the game. So I did eventually give up on trying to figure it out. I walked back and forth quite a lot before I was able to figure out how to make the star jelly, how to get it to the star jelly to the star belly. And then I was able to go ahead and get my first flower, which creates flower sounds, and you have to create the same song as the one that you've heard. It's a little bit difficult to explain. It was kind of difficult for me to understand. And even though I had filled it in and it sounded correct to me, it still wasn't working quite like it was supposed to. So that was initially very confusing. For the purposes of this review, should you decide to play it, I did happen to skip through quite a lot of the game actually picking things up where they were located, how I put them together, simply because I don't want the review to necessarily be a spoiler on how to play the game. So little bits and pieces here and there to show you like what exactly I had to do to accomplish anything. And yeah, so I played probably for about half an hour, give or take. I'm not entirely certain how long it took me to get through the game up to the point that I decided to stop playing. As for my recommendation, I do believe it is a very cute game. It was quite interesting. It made me giggle a few times. It was pretty well written. The sounds aren't overly annoying, and the storyline itself is a bit intriguing. So, trying to figure out what exactly is happening in order to solve it, figure out where everybody went because everybody disappeared. Overall, a very well put together, well thought out game. I could use a little bit more in the descriptor category in terms of what exactly you're supposed to do, or at least making it a little more coherent about what things are. Because it took me a really long time to figure out, for instance, how to grow that initial flower. Because when you hover over something, it doesn't really tell you what the object is. I think that would be helpful if it told you what the object was on the top if you were hovering over it. Probably my only critique for the game as far as I was able to play into it. I would say definitely check it out. It is available on Steam, especially if a point and click adventure is your kind of thing and if you enjoy an art style that looks like this. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will see you in the next Let's Play. Bye-bye.